Shockwatch, the damage prevention specialist, presents Shock Switch ID, a management tool for improving safety in powered equipment operation. For a long time, fast-moving lift trucks roamed the factories, shipping docks, and warehouse aisles of the world, virtually out of sight, and thus uncontrolled. Lots of material was moved, but often accompanied by damage and injuries that became the subject of arguments between employees and managers. Let's listen in.
Who was pulling loads in aisle 4 last night? The rack uprights midway are bent. We got a couple of pallet loads of broken glassware that we cannot ship.
I believe Tom was moving those loads.
Not me, boss. Must have happened while I was on break. Check with Dick or Harriet.
Managers were often confused. Personal injury, product damage, facility damage, and truck damage claims were constantly increasing. If you owned a $30,000 car, you wouldn't want it bumping into things all day, sometimes causing damage and loss of use to both the car and whatever it hit. Management preaches to operators to be as productive as possible, and oh yes, we also want you to drive safe. Management is no longer dealing alone with this catch-22 situation. OSHA has stepped in. Part 1910.178 of the new OSHA regulations requires the employer shall ensure that each powered industrial truck operator is competent to operate a powered industrial truck safely, as demonstrated by the successful completion and evaluation specified in the paragraph. That paragraph calls for operators to be trained and certified, employer certification of that training, refresher training and evaluation for unsafe operators, triennial evaluation of skill retention, access control to vehicles. It is obvious that if and when an accident occurs in your facility, you should be in compliance, prepared to show OSHA or your insurance company the preventive measures you took to ensure safe driving habits. There was no affordable, reliable solution until a bright new dawn brought us Shock Switch ID. Shock Switch ID can help you meet all of OSHA's requirements and more. What is the Shock Switch ID? It is an electronic device that controls access to equipment and also records important operating data, so-called events. An event may be an operator log-in or log-off, or it could be an impact event. Shock Switch ID limits operation of a specific piece of equipment only to individuals that have authorization and proper certification. This timely new management tool may be installed on virtually any piece of equipment. Initially, Shock Switch ID was used exclusively on lift trucks, but increasingly it is being considered for many other types of powered machinery. For example, airport tugs, bobcat excavators, backhoes, bridge cranes, yard cranes, even factory machinery and production equipment. This simple but powerful system can regulate who may operate any unit in your fleet, monitor running time, alert when scheduled maintenance is due. In case of impact, it can stop the equipment right where the accident occurs until reset by the supervisor, and/or it may sound an alarm or the truck's horn for a preset time, then record the impact into memory. Or it can operate silently, but still record driver's behavior into unit's memory, giving management the ability to perform discrete silent audits of driver performance without disturbing the facility. Records when and who performed required shift safety checks. Lockout tagout, with the touch of a key, disable out-of-service units. Shock Switch ID teams up with ShockMate, our management software package, to provide access control, including operator lockout feature, positive ID of operators, complete accountability, log on to log off. Impacts are assigned to person responsible. Operating time logs and reports. How does Shock Switch ID do all of this? There are 3 principal parts of a system: the monitor processor, the keys, and the software. The Shock Switch unit itself is a truck-mounted monitor processor with integral impact sensor, memory, and download capability. The impact sensor has adjustable sensitivity. It can be easily and quickly tuned to the needs of specific operations. What is a safe driving speed to one driver may be entirely different to another. Look at our nation's speed limits. 55 miles per hour, 65 miles per hour, and even 75 miles per hour are defined as safe driving speeds on virtually similar roadways. Shock switch ID can be set to compensate for the environment your equipment will be operated in. All keys are otherwise known as touch memory modules. The operator or key interface is normally mounted adjacent to the vehicle ignition key. Installation requires the connection of just 3 individual wires, one each to the vehicle's ignition switch, battery, and horn. One key, a green key, is personally assigned to each authorized driver. He logs on like this. That's all there is to it. Employee badges utilizing card swipe technology can be incorporated into the unit in place of assigning each employee a green key. Contact the factory for specific details and costs. Supervisors use a similar key, a yellow key, to download information from the truck-mounted units. It's this easy. There are 5 keys in all. They are green, operator identification and access; yellow, manager's key, used to download data; red, the configuration key, used to program settings; blue, the maintenance key, used to generate a maintenance inspection event or lockout tagout the truck; black, reset key after shutdowns or continuous alarms. The supervisor uploads retrieved information about each truck to the office computer. It is this easy. Supervisors may query the uploaded results, generate reports, and maintain permanent ongoing records. Don't want to spend the time downloading each shock switch? An RF unit is also available. When the truck passes by a stationary reader, information from the shock switch ID is immediately downloaded on the fly to the management computer. Now let's go in the office and take a look at the third and perhaps the most important part of the shock switch ID system: ShockMate, the management software package. The included tutorial will introduce you to over 60 possible screens and reports you may select from. Here are a few starters. Now you're looking at some actual computer screenshots. The ShockMate main screen, the ShockMate view data screen, the ShockMate configuration screen, the ShockMate database setup screen. The software package is actually a flexible open platform that you may tailor to the exact requirements of your special installation management and reporting needs. Shock switch ID users say, "Our system works 3 shifts a day around the clock." Almost like having a supervisor in every aisle. Our system paid for itself. Payback is fast, often as quickly as 4 months. Simply the fact of announcing a shock switch system is on board has been known to enhance safety records. Shock switch ID fills a definite need and provides a cost-effective answer to a serious problem. But it is only one of the shock switch lineup of damage prevention solutions, the world's broadest and best, which also includes reusable impact and temperature recording instrumentation, shock log, micro shock log, data scribe, mag 3500, mag 2000, impact detectors, shock watch label, shock watch clip, tilt indicators, tilt watch plus, temperature and humidity indicators, cold mark, heat watch TR1, and bringing it all together, ShockWatch, a world leader in research and development. Global support, global problem solving, global solutions from ShockWatch, the damage prevention specialists.